In the end, all we are is our story. What is your story, and what do you want it to say about your life? I'm Ann C.K. Nickel, a living, walking miracle who is on a mission to transform 1 million lives, one story at a time. Help me reach my big, audacious goal by joining me each week as we discuss all things story. Welcome to the Story Shepherd Podcast. Hello, everyone. It's a new, beautiful day. This is Ann C.K. Nickel, the Story Shepherd, living life on the upside and sending blessings to you all for a wonderful new week full of possibilities. Does fear rule your life? Fear can emerge in many forms: fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of failure, and even fear of success. However it manifests for you, it can be detrimental to your career, your relationships, your dreams, your health, and your life. So, what is fear? The dictionary defines it as a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, pain, etc., whether the threat is real or imagined. Since there are real threats, a fear response is important and has always been a part of the human psyche. Early man used flight or fight fear responses to survive imminent danger. Thank goodness we don't have to face some of those fears today. But there are still legitimate threats that we must protect ourselves from today. So, not all fear is bad. And there are some phobias that developed because of human experience with real threats, like the fear of snakes and spiders. But for help with phobias and other real threats, please reach out to a psychiatrist or a therapist. And let's discuss those other imagined emotional fears. How are they harmful to you and your life story? Fear releases hormones into your bloodstream, causing physical responses like heart palpitations, nausea, dry mouth, chills, hot flashes, and even panic attacks. Then there are the emotional responses. Fear makes you foggy, confusing you on what to do next. It makes you procrastinate, doing other unimportant tasks with no risk. It makes you jump to conclusions, imagining the worst, assuming things that aren't true. It makes you feel helpless, believing you have no control over your life. It makes you feel hopeless, believing good things won't happen for you. It makes you freeze, unable to do more than sit and worry. Fear can hold you back, and that can destroy your chances of achieving your goals and dreams. So, how do you fight those emotional fears, realize your dreams, and create an amazing life story movie? Experts say there is no cure for fear, but here are 7 things you can do to combat and overcome fear. Number 1, breathe. It sounds simple, but it works. When you're feeling confused or finding it hard to think, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Then take another. Continue practicing breathing from deep in your belly, pulling it up and out through your diaphragm. Breathe until you feel calmer, And you can take that a step farther by meditating and making that a part of your daily routine. Some of us are always busy and think that staying busy keeps away the bad thoughts. That may help for a while, but at some point, we need to slow down and breathe. Number 2, stay positive and flip the script on negative thoughts. We all have limiting beliefs that developed throughout our lives, starting in childhood. We may have heard things from our parents like, money doesn't grow on trees, or life is hard, get used to it. Those limiting beliefs stick with us, kindling the flame of our fears. I grew up believing that money was hard to come by. You had to work very hard to barely scrape by, and you had to have a steady income. My dream of being a writer or having my own business was way too risky. And when I wanted to start my first business late in life, my ex tried very hard to talk me out of it. But I finally followed my gut and I did it anyway. And less than a year later, I filed for divorce and I was on my own with a new business and no backup income. And less than a year after that, I almost died, and the overwhelming medical bills almost made me quit and go back to the 9-to-5 grind. Negative thoughts threatened to consume me, and the fear was almost more than I could take. Thankfully, I remembered a video I had watched about replacing your negative thoughts with positive ones, and along with a lot of prayers, I gave it a try. And it helped, but I learned that it takes practice. We developed our limiting beliefs over time, so we can't get rid of them overnight. But here's how you can start. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle so you have 2 columns. In the left column, write down one of your limiting beliefs. In the right column, write a new positive thought to replace it. And when you catch yourself thinking the old negative thought, flip it with the new script you wrote. For example, instead of money doesn't grow on trees, write down money flows easily into my life. Instead of thinking, why would anyone hire me as a coach? Say, I am smart, kind, and personable, and my knowledge and experience helps others transform their lives. To make it really stick, say it in front of a mirror. Face yourself, smile, and say that positive thought out loud. Do that over and over until it becomes more natural to think the positive thoughts. Number 3, learn to like and trust yourself. This goes along with replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones. A lot of people tend to doubt themselves. The reasons may include not having a supportive family growing up, being made fun of or bullied, or experiencing a lot of setbacks instead of successes. This doubt turns into loathing and then turns into fear. So how do you learn to like and trust yourself? First, stop comparing yourself to others. Every person, including you, is unique, with a unique set of knowledge, skills, and experience. That uniqueness makes you special. Say that to yourself. I am special. And repeat it often. Next, focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. When you get down on yourself, you tend to focus on the bad. Focus on the good instead. Get a journal or a notebook and write down all the things you like about yourself. This may feel strange or even vain, but it's not. It's important to know how amazing you are. If you have a hard time thinking of things, ask a friend or a loved one for some reasons why they like you and think you're special. Now, take what you learned in that exercise and write out some affirmations. For example, every part of me is beautiful from my head to my toes. Or, I believe in myself and I know that I can do anything. Use the mirror technique again, saying those affirmations out loud while you smile at yourself in the mirror. It may feel a little silly, but remember, it's only you standing there, and that person in the mirror is the most important person in your life. Treat that person with love, respect, and kindness. Number 4, keep a journal. Writing down your fears removes the scary unknown because you've put it out into the world. Once it's out there, no longer hidden, you can face it. You can see that it's not as frightening as it seemed. You can also use journaling to throw away your fears. For this, you can use a cheap notebook or any other paper. Write down the fear on a piece of paper, then either crumple it or rip it to shreds, and then throw it away, throwing away that fear. When I was going through my divorce, I did this a lot. I was happy to be free, but I also faced some fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of change. I was on my own for the first time in over 20 years. Fear of failure, wondering if I was smart enough and savvy enough to make it on my own, and even some fear of being alone. It was really quiet in that old house I bought. And then I did it all again while I was recuperating from the incident that almost took my life. Most of my fear then was around money due to the medical expenses. I worried that I wouldn't have enough money to pay the medical bills and my house payment and my car payment and the insurance and still have enough to put food on the table. I wrote down my fears and everything I was feeling in those moments, and then I ripped those pages, tearing them into tiny little pieces. And it felt good. It was one way to show those fears that I was still in control. Number 5, talk to someone. It can be a therapist, a family member, or a trusted friend. This is another way to acknowledge those fears, to bring them out into the open and face them head on. When you try to hide from your fear by shoving it deep down, it tends to fester and then grow. That allows the fear to become overwhelming, leaving you feeling helpless to do anything about it. Bringing them to the surface, asking for help, and getting some support fights that fear head on, taking away its power. You are in charge. You are in control. Number 6, focus on the present, on what you can do right now. Sometimes your biggest fears come from worrying about the future, worrying about that unknown. You may have a big dream, but it feels daunting when you focus on what could go wrong. What if I try this and I fail? What if people don't understand or they laugh at me? What if I actually succeed and my life changes in some crazy way? If I succeed, will my family and friends treat me differently? all these thoughts go through your head, and suddenly your palms are sweaty, your heart is beating way too fast, and you can't breathe. Please stay off the runaway train. Stay in the station for a while, checking out the brochures and the possible routes to those beautiful destinations. Experience and enjoy each moment. Think about that big, audacious goal, smile, and think of one thing, just one thing you can do right now in the present to help you achieve it. Then do that one thing. Each day, stay in the present, focusing on one good thing you can do for your future. And number 7, last but definitely not least, focus on faith. For me, spiritual faith is a big part of my life, as I believe God is always there for me. He has shown me over and over by blessing me with life, love, amazing experiences, and miracles. And when doubt overwhelms me or I am frozen from fear, I remind myself of that and that those down times are a part of life. And some of the most amazing times in life are when we find the power to overcome and rise from the ashes, knowing that God is there, either walking with me or carrying me, and knowing that He sent a guardian angel to watch over me helps me conquer my fears. But faith is not only religious. Faith is believing in yourself, that you have the power to do anything and that you are strong enough to overcome any obstacle. Building that faith muscle and believing in yourself improves your mindset, increases your self-confidence, helps you accomplish big goals, and it helps you conquer your fears. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." It's important to have faith and believe you can. You can build that faith muscle by praying and practicing every day. You are a powerful person, stronger than you know. You have the power to choose how to live your life, either by faith or by fear. Practice these lessons, add them to your daily routine, and most importantly, choose faith over fear. Thank you for joining me today on the Story Shepherd podcast. Keep creating your epic life story movie, and please join me next time as we continue transforming lives one story at a time.